Presenting Talkative.
See, all you gotta do to make creepy music is just play chords wrong.
Presenting Talkative's Adversarial Fair.
Fellowshipping with brothers and sisters in Christ while discussing the world of the arts.
What is up? I am Scott Sowers, sitting right next to,
Kevin Spence.
and it's just us two today. I always hate it, like when, like you're introducing yourself, and then, but you also got a friend to you, and they say, "And then what's your name?" And then your friend just expects them for you to say it,
When you ask what their name is.
or like, let me structure this right. Like, I introduce myself to a person.
Oh dear.
Sorry, guys. Like, I'm introducing myself, and then I got a friend next to me, and so the person I just introduced myself to says, "Oh, and what's his name?" And I always just look back at them and say, "You have a mouth."
Answer his question.
What did we just finish record?
You're about to talk about the hit movie of the summer, Barbie.
It is a hit movie. Like, my gosh, 1 billion internationally.
That's expected, but horrific. Scott did not have many kind things to say about that film.
I liked Ken.
I didn't. I liked Black Ken.
Black Ken.
He was funny. Regular Ken was boring.
Ryan Gosling is actually a pretty good actor, though. Have you seen Blade Runner?
I have.
You have? You
Yeah.
didn't think it was that good? In
I
it?
mean, he played his part, I guess, and it didn't seem to demand a whole lot from him, which wasn't his fault, I guess. But
Gay. I also liked him in La La Land, but I wouldn't say his performance was great in that.
I haven't seen The Land of Law.
La La Land's actually pretty good. Do you know why? It's the same guy who directed Whiplash.
Oh wow, that's a tonal shift.
Yeah.
How versatile.
Especially like with his other movies he's made too. Like, it's complete tonal shift.
Dang.
Because all his other movies, from what I've seen from trailers, it looks like just Whiplash, that sort of tone, and then La La Land, it's la 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 la.
It's a lot.
But like, it like La La Land is. This is not even what I was talking about. But I'm just gonna start talking about La La Land. La La Land is like, it's those like really cheery movie, but it's deceivingly, and then at the very end, you're like, well, that was depressing. But it's in the same vein of Whiplash, where it's like, that's kind of also true.
Except with Whiplash, you're ready for it the whole time. Like, this is not going to end happy.
That's true. Yeah. Anyway, okay, let's see what we have on the docket today. I have notes, but none of us write in it. So what are we working on? We just talked about Barbie. Kevin, anything musically, facsimile related, maybe?
PAX is not doing a whole lot right now. The other three members of the band are in another band called Radio Fluke that is a little more in demand commercially, and they're also in the works of an album. So
With Radio Fluke is doing an album?
yeah, so they're a little preoccupied.
I want those other songs, those facsimile songs, though. Those are...
So do I. But Michael does things correctly, so he's going to wait until they can be done correctly. And I don't help when I tell him, yeah, I can rehearse this week. 1-2 hours after 8 p.m. But anyway, yeah, so PAX not doing too much. Another thing that's going to keep Michael busy is the ScottCon on Friday.
None of you are invited. Don't invite them to my house, please. We're gonna do a Smash tournament. I'm not prepared at all. I'm not gonna, like, not even like with all the items I was gonna get. I don't think there's gonna be a second place or third place. I think I'm just gonna do the costume award. It's also it's doubling as a costume event. I'm just rubbing it in how cool this event's gonna be. No one's gonna show up. And then so yeah, I have to find a first place for the costume, best costume, and then I have to. I'm just gonna tell Dylan, give us the medal. So, yeah. Apparently, Dylan's not playing King K. Rool.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but like he's doing like sword characters now, cause from what I heard is he played it at the tournament, didn't do good at all.
Well,
played played different. Yeah, at that tournament, I was with Michael, and we wanted to go to McDonald's, and he says, "We've been on tour for too long. I can't take another bite of McDonald's."
Yeah, that was pretty cool. They're driving around in his tiny, like, little SUV, hitting places in Montana and here, I believe.
Huh.
So, yeah. Hopefully PAX gets to do the same thing
Actually,
pretty soon.
Semi-quoted him in my paper I just wrote.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm in an art history class, and I had a midterm paper I had to write about just a painting from the Denver Art Museum. If it was my choice, though, I most definitely would have talked about Embroidery Woman.
Embroidery Woman?
Yeah. I'm not going to explain what it is.
Okay.
I might do it for another video. But, I chose 10 Cent Breakfast by Metcalf, because that's at the Denver Art Museum, and it's just guys chilling at a breakfast place, like old-timey breakfast place, that I'm guessing was 10 cents. And so, but like I was looking at the Wikipedia and what he was doing at the time, and so he was a traveling artist, and so I was like, that just kind of sounds like traveling on tour with a band. So I just kind of imagined that whole story was just Metcalf and his artist boys just chilling before going on the road again.
What did you quote Michael with?
Well, I just talked about the thing with the McDonald's.
Oh, yep.
How they just go to 10 cents, 5 cents breakfasts and just have that.
Except poor Michael had to go and get $12 breakfasts, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I searched up the history of 10 cent breakfast, and so like they were legitimately like the IHOPs or McDonald's of today.
Oh, nice.
They were, and it just sounded like it sounded like a McDonald's. It was like good enough food, and it's just horribly dirty. So yeah. Next section is what we've been consuming. As Christians, we always want to check each other and make sure that we're diving our minds or keeping our minds safe from worldly ideas. So that's what we take this time to do. Kevin just told me that he's been playing Lego games.
Just one. It's a very obscure one, but it's one of the best. It's called Lego Builder's Journey, and it is all about atmosphere, and it's a puzzle game, but
Let me look at it.
it's really about the weird soundtrack that's just kind of a atmospheric pad land, and you move a little 3-piece guy around trying to find his dad, and I'm stuck on one level currently.
Super story. That story was not what I was expecting.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's just the setup. It's not crucial to the gameplay. The gameplay is just figuring out how to put the pieces together so that they can get to each other, basically. But I'm stuck on one level that involves Lego pieces. I can't describe it
You don't have a
auditorially. I do not, no. I haven't unlocked that yet.
Go play Portal.
I have played Portal.
The second one, because that one's the best one.
Oh, okay. All right, noted. Glad you finally told me.
For anyone who can't tell by now, like I love Portal. It is my favorite game of all time.
And he wants me to join him in loving it.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the first one. I just haven't, finished games like Lego Builder's Journey in order to play Portal 2.
Don't worry, I haven't speedrun the game yet.
Oh, good.
I keep saying I'm going to do it eventually. I haven't done it.
Yeah, well, you better get on that.
You also have... What I kind of noticed about, like, the speedrunning world is that there's just, like, there's just millions and millions of categories of what constitutes as speedrunning. Because really, you could just beat the game by... Because there's a crazy glitch. Sorry if I'm coughing a lot. I've been sick.
He has the plague.
I don't have the plague. I have a cold. Anyway, and so what... like you could just go onto the roof of the whole freaking puzzle and just jump on the roof and get to the end. So it depends on what you
Consider cheating.
Yeah, because like that's a really hard line. I'm not super into the world of speedrunning, but that's like such a hard line because so much of speedrunning is cheating. So which is too much cheating? Where you're just hopping on top of the roof, because that's not fun. Why would you speedrun the game if you can just hop on the roof?
Well, arguably, why would you speedrun the game at all if you aren't there to just enjoy the game and the atmosphere and story?
I played it like 5 times. I know the story
okay.
and I know the puzzles.
Then you might as well hop on that roof and get to speedrun.
Yeah. Me and Jack, we were playing Portal 2, the co-op.
Yeah.
And we were just in Discord, and I can't remember when we started. I probably shouldn't say where we started, but like we ended at like 1 or 2 in the morning, and I was like genuinely trying to figure out the puzzles. But when he gets tired, he just does like random crap
In the game,
or just like in life, and especially in the game. And so Jack is like completely useless, and so I'm figuring this puzzle all on my own. I'm like, Jack, get over there, get over there.
Oh yes sir.
Exactly. And so it's like just our brains are deteriorating as the night goes on. It was magical.
Memories.
And yeah, we can play the co-op too. The co-op's really fun.
Nice. But that's not the crux of it.
No, the main game is the single player.
Yeah.
I haven't played multiplayer much.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so a game I've been playing and I keep talking about, and I'm semi-obsessing over it, but it's hard to say that because I also hate the game.
I recently received in one of our group texts a complaint about all the Persona games suck. What have you been talking about the last month?
Exactly. Some context, though. I was talking... the reason I said that, though, is because what did I ask? Let me see. Because, so, Persona, it's semi-turn... It's like half of the game is turn-based combat, and then, like, a Pokemon game. And then the other half is just, like, a life simulator, high school simulator. And so, in the high school simulator part, you have to answer questions every now and then that'll like raise your knowledge stat.
Yeah.
If you get them right. And I always cheat and look at the guides online because I don't know trivia, because that's all it is just trivia questions, and I don't want to lose the that knowledge stat because it's very useful.
You mean straight trivia, just like who was Woodrow Wilson's wife?
Exactly, stuff like that.
His wife was Patricia Lockensboss, by the way.
Who are you even talking about, though?
Woodrow Wilson's wife.
Yeah, but who is that?
He's a president. He was a president.
Oh, Okay.
Also, I made that up.
Oh, okay.
Patricia Wallace doesn't exist.
Oh.
You could have taken that. You didn't even know who I was talking about. Goodness gracious. I'm glad your mom taught you U.S. history.
Yeah. Hey, but like that's also unfair because like even really, really smart people don't know the U.S. presidents, all of them.
Well, it depends what kind of smart you're talking about.
That's true.
If you mean engineers, then no. But if you mean the Luke Hensons of the world, who just have endless caches of useless knowledge, then
That's true.
although knowing the U.S. presidents is arguably not useless knowledge.
Kind of. I mean, it depends on what they did. Like some presidents just did nothing in their run.
And then you can look at how that was the best thing for them to do.
Well, see, now you're bringing up another school project of mine. When I did government, I had to do a PowerPoint on a president, and so while everyone was naming off, like Donald Trump, Abraham Lincoln, like all the popular presidents who did stuff, I'm like, well, how about instead of that, I just do a president nobody knows. And so I think I chose the 8th president of the world. Or
The world. Dang.
America.
You have high views of the USA.
Technically, yes, we allow. America's awesome. America's also very powerful. Anyway, so I can't even remember what his name was. That's how forgettable he was. It wasn't a big PowerPoint either. He's like, this guy basically existed, and he liked this kind of stuff. Oh, one notable thing he did, and I don't remember his name, so I'm gonna have to search this up, is that he tried to keep Texas from being a state.
Oh.
And so, as someone who went to a classical conservative school, people hated that. People were not happy with that.
But if he'd been the guy trying to keep California from being a state, they would have been all for it.
I would be for it.
Well, hindsight's 2020. So.
Okay, this is the question I asked. This was so the trivia question asks something about zero, or had something. I think it was talking about how zero wasn't like a number people used yet.
Oh.
And so he's talking about the metrics they used that didn't include zero. But basically what he said was that zero represents infinite potential. And so
I remember you asking about this.
And so I asked because I have friends that are like math nerds, and so I was wondering if there is like a math reason why it should mean infinite potential. Well, I was thinking it means zero potential. It means no potential. And so the math nerd agreed with me though that. And then so basically I just said Persona was writing stupid. But okay, so let me actually talk about this game that I've been talking about for a while. So yeah, I might as well. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how I want to explain this to my buddy Kevin.
Who does not have any experience with this game.
We see Persona 5 has a super, super interesting concept for a Christian because it's talking all about sin nature, and it's basically these people called the Phantom Thieves, the people that you lead in the game. Their job is to go into our cognitions form a world called the cognitive world.
What is a cognition?
Basically, it's how we see the world through our nature. And so basically people's dark desires, or sin nature as we would call it, manifest themselves into characters and these things called shadows. And so they represent everything that's wrong with us, essentially. And then so they collectively make up this world called mementos. But sometimes a person's desires get so distorted that they make their own what they call a palace. And so
Their own what?
Palace.
Palace. Gotcha.
So it just kind of takes residency in the world. So there's this one character that sees the world as I don't want to spoil. Let's say I, Scott Sowers, saw the world beneath me, and so I think of the world as a mine, I guess, and I'm on top of the mine. Basically, my palace would be a mine, and then you would have to traverse that in the game.
Interesting. So you play as a shadow.
Well, that's where it gets interesting. So in Persona 4, this is addressed a little bit more in Persona 5. I played Persona 5 first for everyone's information. But basically, if you meet your shadow and you become buddies with him, essentially, the shadow then becomes what's called a persona. Hence the game.
I see. Is that why so in Smash Bros with Joker, is the purple winged thing his shadow?
Yes, that's his persona. And so what the persona represents in Persona 5, at least, is so that's somewhat of a change of heart, but it's acknowledging, again, what we would call sin nature, and then that's taking form or becoming one with your shadow, making it persona represents your rebellion.
I see.
And so it's your it causes you to be different from the world, because now you're not one who can have a shadow or anything. You're separating yourself from the world.
Yeah.
And so because of that, these people, they can go into the cognitive world, go into people's palace and steal their treasure, which is, their darkest desire. So if they steal the treasure, they change a person's heart. So the whole game, all you're doing is changing bad people to be good people.
By stealing their dark desires.
Yes.
Wow.
It's literally just like salvation, except instead of Jesus Christ, it's random people.
I see.
Random teenagers, actually, might I add.
Wow.
So that is the whole concept of Persona 5. Persona 4 is similar. I'm getting through Persona 4, but Persona 5 is like all about rebellion and being different from the status quo and fighting like it's basically like the system sucks kind of stuff.
Of course.
It's all just 90s punk stuff. And then Persona 4 is more like they're called the So in Persona 5 they're called the Fan of Thieves, and in Persona 4 they're called the Investigation Team. And so Persona 4 is more just stop your friend from killing themselves.
What a noble cause.
So yeah, that's what I've been playing. And so an issue that gets raised during and I want to know your thoughts on it, is like I just said, like it's changing your heart, like I said, basically just salvation, but it's in a human's hands. And so a problem that gets raised by the greatest character in that game, my favorite character, Akechi, he says that's not a power a human person should have. And so like the whole time, like they're changing bad people, and he's not saying that like that's wrong. Like it's like, okay, cool, but we don't know who's doing this. We don't know if this person's dangerous or not.
So like the implication is that someone could go into a palace and put a new treasure there that makes them even worse.
That's not something that was acknowledged in the game, but maybe. I don't know. Like,
because if that's not possible, then you can only turn bad people into good people, right?
well, another thing that can happen is that if you kill a person's shadow, they die in the real world.
Why would you kill their shadow?
I don't know.
Oh, if you were evil, you might do that.
Yes, exactly. So it's should like a human have that kind of power?
Is that a question you're posing to me?
Yeah.
No. I mean, that's a question that a lot of, if I may branch into some theologically dense areas, that's a question that a lot of Arminian-leaning Christians grapple with, because they're like, what do you mean God's the only one who decides like who's saved and who's not? And Paul addresses that very directly in Romans. He's like, well, he's God and you're not. So, and the question of should humans be able to do that, the answer is no, but in two different contexts. One of them is no, because we're humans and we're sinful and we would screw it up. I don't even know how, like, the lengths we could go to mess that up. But
it actually does show in the game. They do screw up quite big time.
By killing a few shadows.
I don't want to spoil.
Yeah, good call. But then the second arena in which the answer is no is that's just the way God made reality. We can't. We have no say over that.
Yeah,
one way or the other.
It also goes into another topic that I'll bring up, because I also just want to explain, Kevin, why it pissed me off so much.
The game.
Yeah. But yeah, so like that's exactly. It was actually a very impactful game to me. Like, it was, what I loved about it was that it genuinely made me think about my real life. And it was constantly giving me ideas that I could fight against, because they're constantly asking questions and stuff like that. And so I really enjoyed the game for that part, where I'm just thinking the whole time. And so it was just making me realize how thankful I am that salvation doesn't rest on a human.
Yep.
Because another thing that I was thinking of too is my what's that movie? Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind review. I was saying in that review that memory is very important to identity, and then so if you are erasing memory, you are killing parts of yourself.
Jeez.
And so if you erase like 5 years of your life, you are a completely different person now. And so you are going to, so if you started, why am I trying to give a visual aid?
Because you're trying to explain it to me,
I guess. So if you start here, you go back, all you have to go is the other railroad. This will never be achieved again. At this point, it will never be achieved.
Yeah.
I hope people at home just imagined the wackiest crap.
Then you're just throwing up gang signs as far as they know.
Throwing up some swastikas. Can I do the swastika with my hands?
I have never attempted that somehow.
I'm not going to try. Anyway, so if you change a person so much to the place where they're a good person now, then you have killed that whole identity. And this is a completely different person now.
Yep.
And that's a huge decision, and that's something that is not taken into consideration at all. Like, what else are you influencing
besides just how good of a person they are?
Yeah, exactly. It's just bad person good, and most of it works out, but like, what else gets affected when you are killing a whole identity? Whether he be bad, he's a bad guy, yeah, but It's a whole different person. And then so that's what I liked about the game. I liked that moral quandary, and you're thinking about it the whole time. That's what I love in anything. And so let me tell you the very end. I'm not gonna spoil a ton of the end, or try not to, but I'm gonna spoil the end a bit. So if you guys don't want to hear it, skip it to some other point in time. So basically, there is the God of Control. That's the big bad at the end, because you defeat what I thought was the big bad, because he had 5 freaking stages.
Oh dear.
Oh my gosh. And then I died so many times. And what sucks about dying in that game too is that you spent because it's turn-based combat, right? So it takes longer. You have to decide more.
Yep.
And so it takes 30 minutes to the point where I get to. Not even 30 minutes to finish the fight. And then you die.
30 minutes gone.
Yeah. I'm not very good at RPGs though. But yeah, so you beat what you think is the big bad. Nothing happens though. And so what you realize is that you have to change the whole world's heart.
Oh my goodness.
So remember when I was telling you about mementos? That's where all the shadows kind of gather.
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
Even though it was 10 minutes ago.
Mementos is where all the shadows gather.
Okay.
And then so they find out that at the very end of Mementos, you can change Mementos' heart. Or you can steal its treasure. And so basically, the heart of Mementos is the desire of every single person in Japan.
Oh, Japan.
Yeah. This is not an American game.
Okay.
And so what it says, though, is that people desire to be lazy and not think for themselves and let everything just be done by other people. Everything be done for them.
Yeah.
Which, it made a pretty good case.
That resonates a bit with reality.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, it shows people's thoughts process, and I can't remember the thought process, so I'm just going to say that I'm keeping that secret for spoilers' sake. But you do that. You see the world, and it's okay, yeah, I get that. That makes sense. But then you get to the source of it, and so the big treasure is called the Holy Grail.
So that's the bad thing. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So the whole ending and the whole desires and the whole boss battle is, I don't want to necessarily say God, because I don't think that's more where, of course it's what they're attacking, but specifically in writing terms, that's not what they're attacking. They're just attacking religion as a whole. And they're just saying that religion is the result of people not wanting to think for themselves.
Oh.
Which is Albert Camus.
So, are you saying the religion is the source of people not wanting to think for themselves, or people not wanting to think for themselves is the result of religion? Because if you find this Holy Grail thing that's at the very end, wouldn't that suggest that religion
is a man-made construct?
Okay.
It's a man-made desire.
Gotcha.
Because Albert Camus, he said that he was one of... Are you familiar with Camus? So he's one of the nihilists that came along with Nietzsche, where he said the whole world's meaningless, and so to put meaning into it, you need to either just delude yourself, go insane, or believe in religion.
Well, in his mind, wouldn't those be the same thing?
Exactly.
Okay.
So he says it's either religion or you just live in some other fantasy. And so he's saying that's the only meaning. essentially in the world.
And it's an artificial meaning at that.
Exactly. Philosophy at this point in time is basically there's only meaning if there's a God.
Yeah.
But we don't want to believe in the God. So there is no meaning. That's where philosophy has ended up right now.
Well, it has to if you take God out of it first.
Exactly. So we're kind of caught up with, the Bible. We're exactly where Solomon was hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
There's a joke where philosophers and scientists are all climbing a mountain, and what they're going to find at the end is that theologians have been there the whole time. So that's basically the whole end. And so at the end, you fight the god of control, essentially.
Sheesh.
And then how you beat the god of control is you summon, your persona evolves into a giant demon king.
Jeez.
And then and it says one of the stupidest lines I've ever heard, where Morgana says, in order to be a righteous god, you have to use a demon king, essentially. I'm like,
What?
You don't beat evil with evil. And oh my gosh, I just thought, like, the game's not subtle in, like,
The messaging.
just in general, it's never subtle in what it's trying to say. Even when it's trying to give a twist, you can pinpoint what the twist is gonna be.
Yeah.
But at that point, it's like, what's the term you use when you want to be above a person?
Superiority complex.
Yeah, it's like a superiority complex at that point. And it's just, it wasn't fun to get through. And at the very end, it talks about how the real world is also a cognitive world, and so you can change anything in the reality. So it's essentially saying anything you put your mind to, you'll achieve. But here's the thing. And so, with one of the characters says that if the real world is a cognitive world, then what you have to do is you have to bring your justice, and you have to, it's basically postmodern thinking, where you have to understand everyone's perspective and then all become one with it. But this is what I was thinking. If the world is a cognitive world and you're all trying to become one in your thinking, you already did that. You just destroyed that.
How?
Because Mementos was the shared idea.
And then they got rid of it.
Yeah, from their perspective, they just destroyed exactly what they were supposed to do.
I see.
Are you kind of getting where I'm like, this is the dumbest writing?
Yes. You had a bad message, and then you made your bad message not meaningful anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can tell, though, in the writing, it is very careful with what they're saying. Because they never say justice. They always say my justice.
Interesting.
So they're very careful on the my stuff and the my identity and cognition kind of stuff.
Suggesting that yours is different than someone else's.
Exactly. And then yours is the one you want to follow.
Yeah.
And then
which will end up with, another Mussolini, perhaps.
exactly, like it pissed me off so much, man. It just, because that's when, like, because I would listen to Christian podcasts, and they're always talking about people don't believe in reality anymore, and they say it's reality itself is moldable. And when you do that, and I always thought when I heard that, it's somewhat joking, And then I play this.
like it can't be to that extent. There's
Exactly,
no way.
right? And then I play this game and I'm like, they're not joking. This is serious.
Yeah, they're actually calling for an acceptance of individual realities.
Dude, I was blown away, like, just how, like, apparent it was in that game.
Yeah. And that wasn't even from the, pansy American college students. That was from those
Yeah.
very intelligent, presumably, people in Japan.
That's what I was thinking, too. And, like, Japan is also a very spiritual place.
Yeah.
That's why I was surprised. I was very surprised that a message like this would be in a Japanese game like that. It makes me wonder, like, how far is this message gone? I don't know. Have you seen anything like that, like in other media? I've been talking for a while, so I want to give the microphone to you.
Well, I'm striving to think of specifics, but I mean, I've consumed media that says the opposite.
Like what?
Like the Outer Worlds. Do you know anything about that game?
Nah.
No. Well, it kind of does and it kind of doesn't. It's very anti-corporation and capitalist, for one thing, which is a different conversation. But you're trying to free these like outlying planets from the sadistic and like overruling powers that be up in the board is what they call them, just like the corporate leaders, and it's painted very clearly to you as the protagonist that what they're doing is wrong. They're like manipulating, lying, sending workers to their certain death just to get the resources they need, and it's a very effective depiction of what like that kind of abuse of power looks like. But at the same time, the means that you use to overthrow them is like, what am I doing? I'm like killing innocent villagers to unseat the ruling power.
Well, in my cognition, they weren't innocent. So.
Yeah, so that's more of a case of you will find yourself in morally difficult situations, but it's still painted it as there is a right answer. You just probably won't choose it.
Yeah.
So I have not the producers of media are not to the point of that what you described in Persona universally yet. There's still quite a bit of messaging that says this is right and this is wrong.
Yeah. What bothers me though is like when it's people who won't admit they're that far, but they have the exact same thinking.
Yeah.
Where it's like if we go through the logical explanation, that's what you really believe.
Yep.
I want people to think.
Yep. That's the goal of good and bad morning for the sake of inclusion.
Yeah. Okay. I think we can move on. I'll probably make a video on the Persona games.
Nice.
I want to get to Persona 4 too, because that's a lot older, and I want to know if it carries the same message or not. It seems very different though. So,
how much time is between them?
Persona 4 was released in 2008. Persona 5 was released in 2016.
Okay.
So
8 years, if my math degenerate brain serves me.
thought it was 6.
You suck.
So yeah, Persona 4. Even though I was just talking about how it's like an allegory for suicide, it seems a lot more wholesome and a lot less let's go against the system kind of stuff. So
Well, there's some human-made systems that should be gone against, but reality is not one of them.
yes, exactly. So I'm just wondering if it's the same or not. I want to know how different it is. But it's Persona 4 is like, so far I'm really grooving with the story, and I like it a lot better.
Nice.
So. Sorry if I'm talking too quiet too. Like I said, I'm just sick.
He's ill.
What we recommend? Is there anything you recommend, Kevin? Any bands?
Sure.
He's just gonna pull them up.
I'm thinking of a particular song that I like, and then I listened to a few of their other songs, and they were cool. But I don't remember what they're called, so I'm looking it up.
Oh, by the way, for everyone listening, I walked in, and he was playing Minecraft music, unironically.
Yeah, it was. Well, I saw a reel of a girl walking in their living room and like, my brother's high as frick and just sitting here listening to Minecraft music. And he was sprawled out on the couch and was like, that looks like a vibe, so I'll play some. I skipped to the getting high part, but Minecraft music was nice. So this group I'm thinking of, they're called the Good Lovelies, and it's on the surface not at all anything that me or Scott would listen to, and it probably isn't what Scott would listen to, but it's like this.
They look like moms.
Yeah, exactly, from like the 80s, but they're like female vocal trio, and
They look like they have their own show.
like The View, but for moms.
I thought The View was for moms.
Well, they probably watch it, but I mean moms.
Oh, specifically?
Yeah, but
Here, you keep talking and play something for me.
okay.
In the headphones, so we don't get copyright.
And so that we don't feedback the heck out of this room. So we're about to hear a live review by Scott.
My hair's in the way.
And one thing that made me like the song even more is I was playing it at work once, and one of the managers came by and was like, I'm really grooving to this. And I was like, yes, I do have good music taste. Thank you. I can't hear what Scott's listening to, so I presume it's working and that he's not just standing there with headphones on, ignoring me. So I have no idea what the rest of their discography is like, but of the like 3 songs I listened to, they're great harmonizers and have interesting melodies.
From what I see, they have 69,000 monthly listeners.
They kind of, this one song kind of gives a like old-timey radio show kind of feel. And the other thing I like about it is that it's simple enough that I can just play it on keyboard without having to like look it up and read sheet music. Which is gross. The album cover is also fascinating. It's got the 3 namesake singers in raincoats opening the door to their house, and they have a canoe, and it seems that their house is just floating in the ocean because there's just waves right outside the door. It's also a departure from what I usually listen to because it's less than 3 minutes long. So I'm disappointed by how soon it ends since I'm accustomed to 11-minute tracks. All right.
Let me get back
Scott's, he's about to sit back down and tell me why my music taste sucks.
That was interesting.
I knew it.
That's how everyone just says, that sucked. Are all the songs with like that, the voices in the background, or is it just that one song?
I think they're all like that.
They're all like that? That was pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, vocalization is definitely their selling point. So
Yeah, but it's a selling point, but it's like just in the background, like the keys are like in front,
Oh, yeah.
mixing wise.
Yep.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. They had me in the first half, not gonna lie. Whereas like, I mean, it's like very ragtime thing, but like it
Yeah.
starts like super ragtime. Like I was like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna like this.
You don't like ragtime? Ragtime's dope.
Or like not like it was just like super old timey, super cliche kind of stuff.
Oh,
And I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it if it's that whole time.
Yeah.
And then they break it down, and I was like, ah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so go give Good Lovelies a listen.
I have zero clue what he's been saying this whole time.
Oh, you couldn't hear me at all?
No.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was just making fun of your physique mostly.
Oh, that's easy. I said that as a comeback once. Someone said I was short, and I said, well, you can't make jokes about, you can't make jokes about me being short, but, it's low-hanging fruit. And he said, of course it is, because you're so short. And so,
Set yourself up.
yeah. Yeah, I was just, I was telling Kevin that when I recorded the video with Micah, I don't know why I'm trying to remember the date, but when I recorded that video with him, I just absolutely just looked so tiny in front of Micah, next to Micah. And as Kevin was saying, he's just a tall guy.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking, the camera, that's not what the camera shows.
The camera says Scott is tiny.
The camera focuses on Micah, and yeah.
It's okay, Scott. Someone will want you.
Dang, you didn't have to go there. I will say, though, I'm not insecure about my height now, but, back in high school, I really was. I only became insecure about my height after I heard that women care about height. Like, sure,
You got
like,
priorities.
yeah, like, guys would pick on me, for being short and being skinny, but I'm like,
It's like, hey, you don't want to marry me.
yeah, exactly. I didn't care. I still thought I could beat them up. I can't, but
Oh, there's a few mutual friends we have that we both know you could beat up.
the one that are piles of sticks.
What?
The ones that are piles of sticks.
Yeah.
Okay. Like the literal children we know.
Well, yeah.
Wait, a pun. Yeah, no. But yeah, I only started caring when I found out women care.
Yep.
Anyway, what's on the docket? What else were we gonna talk about?
Meta stuff.
Yes. Okay, so this is a thought that I've had recently. What did I watch? Well, I mean, I'm always thinking of it because I hate Rick and Morty.
That's an interesting take. I've never heard that.
You've never heard someone say they hate Rick and Morty?
No, I haven't heard that from you.
Oh. Yeah. I watched 3 seasons of it, which is probably more than I should have. Season 1 was pretty good. I like season 1. But that's like when it's a fresh concept and it's new and it's exciting. And then season 2 was all right. Like I was still kind of getting used to it. And then season 3 wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Like even the Pickle Rick episode everyone talks about, it wasn't that good. It wasn't funny at all. It was funny when you saw him as a pickle, and then after that it lost its charm real fast.
He's funny as a meme, not as an episode.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a great point for the whole show. It's a great meme. It is not a good show.
Now, the same cannot be said of SpongeBob SquarePants. That's a great meme and a great show.
I heard the new seasons are pretty good. Have you seen the new seasons?
No.
Because I was gonna say the traditional. Oh well, only 1 through 5 or 1 through 4 or whatever it is. They cap it at, but
I don't know. I've only seen like 1 through 5 or 6, and I loved it.
good enough. What do you think about the movie?
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen the movie?
Nope.
Are you nuts?
I am nuts.
Okay, you know what? Screw this. We're gonna talk about SpongeBob.
Yes.
The one thing, so as a homeschooler, like SpongeBob is a way better topic to talk about. Oh my gosh. Especially as we're homeschooled. No one in my life has ever seen SpongeBob. Like, or we're in the timeline we're talking about. I lived in Hawaii for 10 years and most of my childhood. And so, but I was still in the church, homeschooled group, and no one has seen SpongeBob. No one is allowed to watch it.
It's demonic.
Yeah, exactly. I was the only person in the whole church world who has seen.
Oh, you did watch it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I watched it tons.
Did you also watch The Silence of the Lambs when you were a kid? They were equated together.
Real? What?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
It was just like you had an equal chance of being turned down with SpongeBob or Silence of the Lambs if you asked to watch it.
I wasn't allowed to watch Silence of the Lambs. But SpongeBob is just stupid. I also I didn't like horror movies. I had no as a kid, I never got that thought process of let's watch a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like, in shows, they're always like it's an exciting, rebellious thing you can do as a kid.
Well, I mean, it is, but then they always regret it after.
Yeah, there's that. And then I never had that desire. I never wanted to see a horror movie ever.
Well, that's because you didn't feel the need to rebel because you were already allowed to watch things like SpongeBob.
Okay, thanks for getting us back on track. Anyway, so yeah, I moved to Colorado, meet Kevin, and he references SpongeBob in some way.
Oh, what? I did not know I was going to factor into this.
This was the whole point of the story.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then so, you may want to look at the audio thing. Something weird's going on.
I believe that was me messing with the mic, but we're going to pause and come back.
Okay, we're back. So yeah, I go to Colorado. Kevin references SpongeBob, and
I don't suppose you remember what the reference was.
I do.
Oh, let's go.
Because we are sitting around a campfire playing songs
at the bar's house. That's the only place I can think of both of us being at a campfire. The Christians.
I don't know. Probably shouldn't be doxing people.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. I don't think I knew the bars at that point.
Yeah, they weren't around Aletheia then.
Anyway, but yeah, we're playing songs, and so Kevin sings the campfire song or some version of it.
What else are you supposed to sing when
Exactly.
you're around a campfire?
Exactly. And I got so freaking excited. I'm like, finally, someone who's seen SpongeBob. So tell us your thoughts on SpongeBob, Kevin.
Okay. So, first disclaimer is I have only seen like the first 5-6 seasons.
That's the only thing you need to see. That's all I saw.
Oh, okay, perfect. Well, yeah. In that case, we're both SpongeBob authorities. It is very funny. It's one of those magical moments of it does not matter how old you are. It will be funny. You might be laughing at different things. So quite often enough, it's not different things. Like I still think just the stupid jokes are pretty funny. And I feel like the characters matter a lot less than how the voice actors play them because the characters are just SpongeBob. What is SpongeBob? Oh, he's happy and naive. Okay, what's Patrick? He's dumb. What's Squidward? He's grumpy. It's like, okay, well, there's not a lot of depth to that. And you're right, there's not. But the way that they're portrayed is just unique and endearing. You're just like, wow, these people. It's just so fun to watch them mess around.
Yeah.
You know? The stakes aren't very high, so you can just watch an episode and be done with it. And yeah, and especially, I bet it also had something to do with its competition was things like Clifford, as far as I'm aware, or Arthur.
What was on at the same time? Because I want to say like all the 90s shows, but I mean, at that point, they were becoming irrelevant.
Yeah. So, I mean, I wasn't watching SpongeBob when it was fresh by any means. I just watched like the first few episodes when I was in high school.
None of us were born then.
Nope, which is crazy.
Yeah, I know. SpongeBob was old, man.
And SpongeBob's antique. Yeah, so I honestly don't understand what the like hate was from the Christian community. It's not even that rude. Like,
yeah,
it's not like there's potty humor throughout the whole thing.
People talk about the raunchiness of it, but I'm like, there is like one joke that comes to mind where it's like an innuendo, but even as an innuendo, it's not that bad.
Yeah. And you can dig deeper and find more graphic things that are, at worst, well-hidden jokes.
Yeah.
And at best, you're making it up. Like, that's not something they meant to say.
Yeah, you're absolutely right on that. It's just dumb. And I think people didn't like that.
Yeah. There wasn't... It's not super educational, but it's not doesn't pose any philosophical questions. Like, so what?
Hey, hold on there, okay?
Oh,
There's
okay.
a couple that's like, it gets deep, and there's like a guy who's like dedicated to finding all the philosophy.
Of course there's. I'm sure there's a guy dedicated to finding the philosophical mysteries of Power Ranger Samurai.
Little nod to Emmy. If she was here, she would be cracking up or being angry.
Defending herself.
Yeah. But
What do you think about SpongeBob?
fantastic.
Fantastic.
So you really haven't seen the movie?
Nope. Should we watch it on air right now?
It's tempting. I gotta go, but it's tempting. Maybe that would be kind of a cool editorial video. We watch
Just
SpongeBob.
commentary.
Yeah, and we just record ourselves watching it, and then
I bet we'd get views, dude.
yeah, I mean, I always get those videos of we got drunk and we started watching Jimmy Neutron.
For us, it would be we had a Bible study and then watched SpongeBob.
We drank communion and watched SpongeBob.
We drank grape juice.
You ever go to? Did I already tell you this? Like, you ever get like nervous when you go to another church and you wonder about their communion?
Oh, like whether it's real wine?
Yeah.
I never did worry about that, and I don't worry about it now because, like, if it was wine, so what? And I also haven't been to that many churches where they happen to be doing communion.
I haven't either, but But ever since I went to Christ Church, it's been a thought in my mind ever since.
Did that happen?
Oh yeah, it was like, yeah, they had wine. I'm like, but I realized that beforehand. I'm like, oh wait, this is real wine. Huh.
Did you realize it from like how it smelled or something?
No, I just was thinking, oh, this is a Presbyterian church.
Oh yeah.
They did and like even they like baptized kids as part of the household beforehand. So it was like the full Presbyterian experience. And so at that point, I'm just thinking, this is probably wine then.
How was it?
It was good from what I remember. But like what I say like worry is like I don't worry about the alcohol content because I was fine.
It's like
It's a drop.
an ounce, yeah.
It's not even what you could like call a shot, I don't think. And but I just like I imagine I'm gonna drink wine at a church and I'm not gonna realize it, and it's gonna shock me.
Oh, you mean like it'll taste not like grape juice?
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna think it's grape juice, drink it, and go. I have to sometimes for the comedy of this, I have to realize I have to make sound effects, not motions.
It can all. Well, you can just have me tell me, Kevin, describe what you're doing.
Anyway, I was gonna segue in this because Kevin really, really, really wants a review on his church.
Yes, So the strange setup for this was that Emmy, my woman, and Scott and
Not his woman.
yes, regrettably, but they got invited to play at another church down the way from another mutual friend, Sam. Sam, you do good work. Good job. So, but I had to play on the team at my church. So, but Sam's service is super early for some reason and super short. So,
Yeah.
they showed up in the middle of my church's service.
It wasn't in the middle. Don't say it like that.
Well, I guess
It seemed rude.
I guess I see it as after Sunday school, so I'm like, it's in the middle. But yeah, they weren't too rude. So, and I was not expecting them. I was like, oh, look, all my friends are here. And so then Scott got to sit through an entire GCA church service, which he's never done before. So
Yeah. I'm just gonna say I was really surprised. It was really good. Like, not like surprised that not in the sense of like, oh, I thought your church was horrible. Just in the sense of where you're not expecting preaching like that, you know?
well, it's hard to come by.
Yeah. Well, because okay, so I'm just gonna lay it all out for y'all. As I was sitting in Sam's service, it wasn't bad, but I was just thinking, dang, I really like my dad's preaching. But I go to the Spence's church, and I sit down and I listen to the sermon. And I'm like, this reminds me of my dad's preaching.
Nice.
I really like this.
Well, and also further context, we hired this guy just this year. He's fairly new because the old pastor of 30 plus years retired and moved to see his grandchildren, and so we had to get someone new, and we made the right choice for sure.
I feel like and I want to get back to to the church service and all of that. But I feel like having a pastor, one being there for 30 years and then retiring, and that's the reason why he leaves the church, is rare, at least with my experience.
Yeah.
Because we've at least, and we do this purposely, but the churches I've grown up in, we're always cleaning up. We're always the aftermath. So we have to deal with like pastors, generations, generational trauma this church has gone through. And so that's kind of my experiences with churches.
Yeah, GCA is pretty drama free.
Yeah. I wonder what that's like.
Pretty boring,
But yeah, so going back to the Spencer's churches, it was really good. I liked the music. The songs were cool. Voices were cool. Piano kind of sucked, but
Yeah, we need to fire that guy.
but no, I was really impressed by the sermon. I just thought, I just thought he was super smart, super articulate.
He's so smart. He's smart. He reads everything, and he's also that rare combination of like he's funny and warm. Like if you talk to him after the service, he'll be like, "What's up, brother?" and then start making fun of you immediately. Like,
yeah, dude. He comes up to me and says, just pleasantries. And then he points to Kevin and he goes, "And that's your friend, right? You know him, right?" I was like, "Yeah, he's a good friend of mine." And he immediately starts praying for me as a joke.
I've seen him do that to several of my associates.
That's a great bit, man. That is
Yep.
fantastic. And you can only really do that as like a pastor. You can't
Yeah.
really do that as...
It does not land the same way if
Exactly.
you're the janitor.
So, fantastic. But it's good that you're drama free, because I forget the term of it. There's a term for because we're a revitalization family, and so our goal is to deal with the drama of the past pastors, and so it's a grueling process, but we survive. God is good.
Yeah.
I heard a guy when I was in Iowa talk. He was also a revitalization pastor, and he was going through it, man. Like, he was just talking to the pastor in Iowa. He was from a different place, and they were just talking pastor to pastor, and then I'm just silently listening because I'm a revitalization kid, and I'm just hearing him talk about it. And he's just going through it, and there's problem after problem after problem, and like the church hates him, and they're doing all this stuff, and I felt so bad for the guy, but there's that sense of relatability.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I've also had to deal with other churches' trauma, where you just kind of get in the wrong place and the wrong time. And then now you have to sit through.
Are you referring to a certain Friday night experience?
Yes. Yes. I mean, really, in a sense, I like walked in on a church discipline matter, and it was like all emotion were put out. Everyone laid their guts everywhere, and I felt like I was just watching this random couple get divorced. That's what it felt like. And then it's just your friend brings you to their parents signing their divorce papers. That's what it felt like. And you're just sitting there and you just looking at the ground.
Thinking about what you're going to have for breakfast the next day.
I wish I was thinking about it. I wish I had the comfortability to think about that kind of stuff. I wanted to melt into the floor and not exist. So drama free is really good.
Yes, it is.
Have your 30-year retired pastor. And that's why it's important to read your Bible. I'm Scott Sowers.
I'm Kevin Spence.
And we're unimpressed with the fools. So we'll see you guys later.